we are going to move on to topic number 2. What it do? Salute the people on TikTok. The time is ticking. The election is here. But guess what? We still got 99 part to complete. So, Zach, we're going to move on. And the next topic that we have right now is talking about my guy, Jordan Love. Okay. Now, did the media crown Jordan Love the next star quarterback too early? Did people like myself, Zach, jump the gun?
Yeah, well, let me start off by saying this. I think the Packers made a mistake playing Jordan Love in this game. I understand that it's a divisional game, America's game of the week against the Detroit Lions, who are the best team in the NFC right now. But if the Packers would have won this game, they would be right there with them in terms of the race for first place in this very good NFC North division. But it was clear from very early on in that game that Jordan Love was not right. The weather was not good. And I think that really held the Packers back. And I never thought I'd say this, but look, Malik Willis, he's played very well for this Packers team. He's played in 3 games this year, and they've won all 3, including the game 2 weeks ago against the Jaguars. He came into that game, they were losing, and they ended up finding a way to win. And I think he's been much better than anyone could have expected. So I'll say that right off the bat. I would have played Malik Willis over Jordan Love when it was just very clear from very early on that Love was not 100%. And I think that decision really ended up costing the Green Bay Packers in this game. But the bottom line with Jordan Love is this. It seems like each and every week he makes mistakes that a guy of his caliber should not be making. And I think this was really the first time that it really ended up costing the Green Bay Packers. We remember that pick six he threw in LA against the Rams. Now, the Packers ended up winning that game. The Rams were not really healthy in that game, and Green Bay was just the better team, but they were very fortunate it didn't cost them there. They also beat the Houston Texans on a game-winning field goal. Love had a couple turnovers in that game. You also remember against the Minnesota Vikings early in the season at Lambeau. Love, I believe, threw a pick early in that game. Minnesota got off to like a 20-0 lead. Green Bay did not have enough to come back. Now, when it comes to Jordan Love, this whole situation is unique because really since the day the Packers drafted him, this quarterback situation has not been really similar or comparable to many we've seen around the league. Really, the best comparison is the Packers with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. And of course, we know how that ended up working out. So I think when you watch Jordan Love in the last 8 games of last year, it's hard to deny just how good and just how impressive he was. And that ended up getting him paid. That was really the shifting point of Green Bay season last year. They ended up winning that playoff game in Dallas. They were right there in the second playoff game in San Francisco. But I think we also have to remember, too, that Jordan Love was not good in the first half of last season. So his first year starting, he had 8 really bad games, and then he had 8 really good games. And this year, while there's been a lot of good, there's also been a lot of bad. And I think where the perception here is a little messed up is because Jordan Love plays for the Packers, right? A team that has had, prior to him starting, 30 years of excellent quarterback play. I think that after those 8 games, the narrative was the Packers did it again. They got Brett Favre. They got Aaron Rodgers. And now they have Jordan Love. And although Jordan Love is very good, he's a top-notch quarterback, like a top 12, top 15 quarterback. I do think that we might have crowned him in the star category a little bit too early because he only had 8 good games. Now, they were very good, very impressive games. But for me, at least, I need a little bit more of a bigger sample size in order for me to put you into that category. And I think so far this year, he's shown you moments of why those conversations were had, but he's also shown some moments of, okay, maybe we need to pump the brakes here. I think the best comparison for this is the San Francisco 49ers, right? They had Joe Montana, a Hall of Fame quarterback. They had Steve Young, a Hall of Fame quarterback. And after those 2 guys, they had Jeff Garcia, who was a very good quarterback. They won playoff games with him. But he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not some all-time great. And I think that's the category I put Jordan Love in right now. Is he very good? Yes. But is he a Hall of Famer? Is he an MVP candidate? Is he a star? Not even close yet. And he still has a long career ahead of him. Maybe he could play his way into that category. But I think that we did crown him as a top 5 elite quarterback a little bit too early. And some of these mistakes just can't happen. He needs to be better.
Yeah, I think for me, to quote the great Hannah Montana, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. and Jordan Love had himself a day. He had him a 30 for 30 episode. Couple touchdowns, a couple picks. It is what it is, right? Now, technically, he is in the fifth year, but he's still a second year full time starter. The guy is talented. We know that. The guy is physically gifted. We know that. But the main issue is that he just needs to fix a few mechanics, a few things, right? Which I believe primarily is knowing when to give up on a play, not trying to be Superman, right? Knowing that you're Hannah Montana, you're not perfect, but don't try to be Superman, right? If a play is not there, give up on it. One play in particular that I want to reference, you referenced the Rams play. I'm glad you did. That was a boneheaded play. But there was a play where he misread a dump off and he threw an interception that was returned for a touchdown right before halftime to Kirby Joseph, a pick six, right?
And that changed the game, right?
It
At least
changed
I
the
thought
game.
that way.
It definitely did. And you could tell he was hobbled as well because he was moving Ginky in the pocket as well when he threw that ball. So, truth be told, he probably should have had played in the game to begin with. But, obviously, it's a divisional game. The importance of the game cannot be understated. So, okay, we're going to throw him out there in the game. And guess what? You didn't get the results that you wanted. And the fact of the matter is, it was a team collaborative, you know, effort, I guess, that didn't, coexist to a W. I mean, you had Packers wide receivers that had 6 drops in the game. Datavian Wicks, he was targeted 3 times in the game, dropped 2 of those 3 targets. And look, your guys got to catch the ball. You got to be more consistent. But I still think that Jordan Love is in the penthouse of quarterbacks that are in the top 10 because when you think about it, and I know I said that he was going to be, my bold prediction was he was going to win the MVP. But guess what? It's a bold prediction for a reason. Okay. It's called bold, right? My point being is that if we're going to call Jordan Love or say that we crown him a star quarterback too early, then we got to keep the same energy for a guy like CJ Stroud, who has not been playing up to par this season. Okay. The first couple of games, woohoo. But the last couple of games before the injuries, okay. Yeah, I guess you could say after the injuries, but because Nico Collins changed everything. But he's still supposed to be an elite guy, right? We see what Patrick Mahomes is doing, right? So if you want to be in that penthouse, you gotta, show us that you're an elite guy. And Stroud hasn't shown that. So if we're gonna say that about Jordan Love, then we need to say that about CJ Stroud, right? But it's ironic because we both put those guys, well, I put those guys in that category last year. But
we keep in mind too, we debated over the summer, like which guy would you rather start your franchise with going forward?
Absolutely. And so far they haven't been playing to that standard. But I still think is midway. Jordan Love obviously has been dealing with injuries. So we have to see him healthy. They got a bye week coming up. And I think I trust a guy like LaFleur coming off a bye to get his guys together to go on a streak. Remember last year, the Packers were dealing with injuries when Jordan Love did play bad. And when he played good, they were healthy. Now Jordan Love is playing with injuries. Now, if he can get healthy, I expect him to play good. And I expect him to play MVP caliber football down the stretch. So, no, I don't think we overcrowned him the next star quarterback too prematurely.
Okay, let me respond to that Stroud point. The reason why I disagree is last year, CJ Stroud was great, really for a full season from start to finish. And he put up better numbers. He was more consistent. And for me, that full season sample size is more equitable than only an 8-game sample size than we saw from Jordan Love. Also, I'm not trying to make excuses for CJ Stroud. He's been far from perfect, but I think he has the worst offensive line in the league in front of him. The Texans' offensive line has regressed in a major way that, I didn't even see that coming. And 2, I thought the Texans' play calling in that Thursday night game against the Jets was horrendous. The only thing that was working for them was Joe Mixon and getting him going. He was running the ball great. And Bobby Slowick, a guy that many people around the league are very high on, many people around the league, think he is the next star young offensive mind, the next star young head coach. I'm not really in that same boat. I think him getting away from the running game really hurt Houston in a big way. The Texans also have had some major injuries at the wide receiver position, and we're going to see CJ Stroud in prime time against the same Lions team that Jordan Love struggled against on Sunday. We're going to see them take on the Texans in Sunday Night Football this week. And I have a feeling Stroud's going to have a big game. I just think that when it comes to CJ Stroud, that we have a bigger sample size. He was excellent for really his whole rookie season, while Jordan Love was only really good for half of that rookie season. And I think there's some outside circumstances, like just an offensive line that has regressed in front of him in a big way, injuries to wide receivers, poor play calling. I think that's, for me, what has really set Stroud back this year. Meanwhile, Jordan Love, he just has to stop making those crucial mistakes that I thought really cost the Packers on Sunday.
I mean, you look at both of those guys, and I'm pretty sure you can make excuses for either guy. Obviously Jordan Love is dealing with the injuries. He's not as mobile as he should be in the pocket, and you combine that with his ability or inability to allow a play to just die if it's not there. You combine those two things, it's not going to be a good mix. But Stroud, I mean, he had various moments where the offense, even when healthy, even when the guys were healthy, that it just was stagnated. For example, I remember that Bears game on Sunday Night Football. There were multiple possessions in which the Bears got off the field. Their defense, and I understand the Bears defense, is bend but not break, and they've done some fairly decent things at various points throughout the year. But still, your offense was stagnated. You had multiple possessions, a lot of possessions, right, in the second half of that game, and you did nothing with it. I remember the game against the Vikings, Brian Flores, right, who also gave Jordan Love some trouble, but that was Jordan Love's first game back from an injury, I believe, right? He gave Stroud tons of trouble, right? So at the end of the day, Stroud has not been consistent pre or post injuries. And clearly the offense is in disarray right now. So there is room for more excuses now compared to before. Both guys are not living up to the star label this season. However, there is a second half of football to be played. And once if these guys get healthy or the team around them get healthy, then hopefully we see why we named them, star quarterbacks last year.
I'll just end the segment with a take, and I said the same thing in the preseason, and I'm going to stand by it. If you're asking me which guy would I rather have as my franchise quarterback or face of the team for the next decade, I would take CJ Stroud over Jordan Love any day of the week, and I feel good about that. I really do.
Yep. All right, Zach, any thoughts on the Lions real quickly, or are we going to hit on them later? It's up to you.
I just thought that was a great win from their perspective. I think a sign of a great team is when you have your opponent making mistakes, are you able to take advantage and make them pay? And that's exactly what they did. We know going into this game, the concern with Jared Goff, he hasn't been good in the cold. That's usually where he turns into a pumpkin, but in not ideal situations, I thought he played great. Look, the Lions defense is not anything special, especially without Hutchinson, but we know that's not their strength. They want to outscore you. And with the quarterback like Goff, with the best offensive line in the league, with the weapons they have, with the play caller they have, that formula has been working with them so far. They also made a big trade today. I'm not sure if we'll get to that, but that was just an excellent win. And I think right now they are by far and away the team to beat in the NFC.
Real quickly, since we're talking about the Lions here, we have a comment on TikTok. Trade Amon-Ra, Monty, and Keenan Allen for A.J. Brown and Gibbs. Zach, are we doing that? Should that be a good move for Mr. Julian here?
I think I'll take the A.J. Brown and Gibbs side. I know A.J. Brown is banged up, but I think those two guys, you might have a top 5 wide receiver and a top 5 running back. So I think I would lean towards that side.
To me, I don't think you need to make that move. Like I see that as an even move because Amon-Ra is a target, machine, obviously. And Keenan Allen is a little bit streaky, but I like Monty. Monty is scoring them touchdowns, and it's funny because you got Monty and Gibbs. Monty looks like the bell cow of the two, even though Gibbs could still give you fantasy production. So to me, that's an even trade. It doesn't need to be made to me. But yeah, Zach, we are going to go to halftime here, and we are going to log off for TikTok. So make sure those of y'all who are watching right now, you follow me here on TikTok. You like the video, you join my subscription link in bio, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out, TikTok. All right. We are going to go to halftime here on the live show. And when we come back, we got more mid-season awards, Trade deadline winners and losers. You don't want to miss it. Keep it locked. This is 99 Pod, folks.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.